The violin and fiddle are pretty much the same stringed musical instrument. They are playing the same instrument. There isn't a difference between a fiddle and a violin, at least not physically. The difference between a fiddle and a violin is simply in the style of music they are used to play. Violins are typically used to perform classical music, such as in symphonies and string quartets. Fiddle players, on the other hand, typically perform country and bluegrass, as well as Celtic and other folk music. Now it is time to jump in the main video. Before starting the deeper comparison, please subscribe to our channel for further notifications. A violin is a stringed instrument played with a bow. It has a double curved body, along the neck, somewhat like a guitar, but it's smaller and it's held horizontally, with the bottom part tucked between the shoulder and chin, and the top of the neck held in the hand. Sound is produced by drawing a bow across the strings. Violins are known for their especially beautiful and flexible tone. They're common in string ensembles and orchestras and are an important instrument in many classical music compositions. The violin family of instruments also includes the viola, which is slightly larger than the violin. Technically, the word fiddle can refer to any instrument in the viol family, but most commonly, fiddle is simply used as an informal name for the violin. Musicians playing the instrument in a bluegrass band are probably more likely to call themselves fiddlers than violinists due to the nature of the music and the performance. By and large, fiddling is simply a different form of playing. Classical violinists adhere strictly to written music, while fiddlers follow a more freeform play style, as opposed to the more technical nature of violin music. Fiddlers often use alternative techniques, such as string bending and extended double stop and triple stops. Sometimes fiddlers hold their instruments differently, too, to accommodate their playing style. Oftentimes, you'll find that fiddle players prefer to rest the palm of their left hand against the neck. Sometimes they hold the bow a bit up on the stick instead of at the frog. Violin music is usually much more complex and formal. Meanwhile, while a fiddle tune is simpler, at least on paper, oftentimes fiddlers never leave first position. Fiddling music tends to be more raucous and many times much faster than violin playing. While it may not be as technically difficult as violin music, fiddling does require a lot of skill in terms of rhythm and melody. While the primary difference is in play style, there sometimes are tangible physical differences between the violin and fiddle. A classical violin player will typically use gut or synthetic core strings, while fiddle players usually use steel strings. Due to their sharper sound, fiddlers may make physical modifications to their instruments. Some flatten the curve of the bridge to make double stops easier, cut the bridge lower for easier action since a flatter bridge decreases the angle between strings. This makes it easier for fiddlers to play 2 or more notes at a time, an asset for the fast nature of fiddle music. When played in a folk style, it is said to be a fiddle, and when played in classical tones it's called a violin. In fact, the playing style is the main criteria that differs the fiddle from the violin. The violinist reproduces the composer's music with exacting accuracy, down to the loudness of individual notes. A well-performed violin piece will not deviate in the slightest degree from the composer's notation of the music. Fiddlers, on the other hand, bring their own interpretation to every piece, sometimes varying so far from the original melody as to make it almost unrecognizable. We are almost wrapping up. These are the common differences between these two. Hope you like this video.